Hi everyone, it's me again, segment number 3, and this time we have Lin Yu Kang. Very nice, thanks for being on the show with us today.
Pleasure being here.
And he worked at HydroOne. He was a program workforce management analyst, and he was basically doing a lot of work in operational efficiency. Very, very interesting job. So, I want to leave an open-ended question to you. Can you tell us a bit about the company and also the work you were doing at HydroOne?
Gladly. So basically, HydroOne Networks was, before it was Ontario Power. And then a few years ago, it was divided into Bruce Power, HydroOne Networks, and Toronto Hydro. Well, it was a small subsidiary of Brampton Hydro. So basically, at HydroOne, it's a, I would say, relatively big size organization. It was over 5,000 people working all across the province. So for me, working there was pretty interesting because, well, first of all, it was, I wouldn't say the first time, but it was the first time working for a huge company like that. And a lot of interaction going on was really interesting. And I was working in the downtown Toronto location, which I also got some opportunities to meet people from all across the province during the quarterly meeting and month-end meetings. And inside the firm, I would say the atmosphere there is pretty different from the stereotypical atmosphere of what people perceive those big companies have. It's not just it's a structural corporation, which people just, this chain of command, having like 20 levels all the way down. It's really interesting because everyone treats everyone, and I mean it literally. Even your my supervisor treated me as a former employee, not just a random kid walking around and doing nothing. So that was really good for, I think, co-op students' personal development. And
a bit about your position?
Yeah, for the work I was doing there, basically I was doing a lot of reporting, monitoring, and analysis for the production, well, not the production, I would say the generation of power, electricity, and also the labor efficiency, how well the people are doing the inspection work. So mainly when I was doing it, I personally developed a few more new reports, the format for the company. So, well, I would say I used a lot of Excel during the development stage. And also, when I was, well, a lot of visual representation, graphical representation for it. And there was a lot of interaction internally between everyone in the organization. I met a lot, like I mentioned before, I met a lot of people. And there was a lot of, well, required phone calls and email exchange on a day-to-day basis. Usually, on, say, a relaxed day, I would probably receive around 50 emails just trying to, just people from the field trying to get a sense of where the project is and how the whole process is going. And also, I had a few opportunities to talk to the top management of HydroOne, which was a really interesting experience because, again, there were not those stereotypical poker-faced people who think they know everything and don't treat you like a human being. They were really nice, and they actually were willing to sit down and talk to me about the project, the latest progress.
So you brought up 3 really important points, which I think we've so far brought out in our segments. 1, DDs get jobs in pretty interesting industries. We've seen oil, we've seen finance, we've seen traditional business jobs, and now we have someone working and understanding the electricity industry, which is a completely massive industry to deal with on your own.
Right.
And then secondly, a really important skill for first years is the value of Excel. So maybe you want to touch a bit on how important Excel is and why the first years need to get that.
Absolutely. Well, I cannot stress enough the importance of Excel in the business world. Basically, every day of my work was based on Excel, every single day. And when I was developing the different reports, I used a lot of pivot table and also macro. I believe that's one of the most important things you can ever use in Excel. Basically, I recorded a few macros just to save myself some time, so I don't have to look over 20,000 lines of data. I can just do it by the computer and generate all the results I would like to see in 2 minutes, literally. And in terms of the other functions of Excel, I would just say generally just useful for you to even keep track of all the tasks of where you are for yourself. And in first year, I believe, for double degree kids, we do have the privilege to join the programs that work for Laurier, the PRISM, the business, the school,
PRISM is basically one of the programs that Laurier has, and it teaches you a variety of skills, especially macros and Excel. So definitely something to join if you're a first year.
Exactly, and there is some certificate you can get from joining and completing the program. So I would say that it is going to be a huge asset for you to have on your resume. And yep, that's pretty much
So if I were to like summarize, a couple of the key things is A, you need to have a knowledge about general business because you did a lot of different work, and get Excel in your resume, get some sort of a certification because his job had it, my job had it. Every job is going to need very good skills in Excel, especially in any business position you do that. So my last question for you before we wrap up is, as a DD, as a double degree, did you have a massive advantage? And secondly, if you do have that massive advantage, how does a double degree now go forth and get this type of a position?
Well, to answer your first question, I believe no one would have a question that the answer will be yes. So for me, the different thing was when I was actually doing analysis and with the numbers, I don't just see, okay, this number seems kind of big, and then just randomly start from everything from guessing. I actually have a quantitative understanding of what's going on and what this should be, or if there is a potential problem. I think for double degree students, we are more capable of analyzing it and figuring out where the problem lies. Also for business, I mean, that's very important. I don't think anyone would doubt that it will enhance our overall understanding for the whole organization and how business works. And just one interesting thing to bring up, during the last 2 months of my work term, there was actually a power worker union at HydroOne inside. The union was planning on going on a strike. So when the strike was looming, I think having the business side of experience for, say, HR, human resources management, that really helped me to deal with all the stress and all the uncertainty from different news, mainly bad news every day. And that's probably some advantage over the other programs.
We truly have the qualitative and the quantitative side to any job we do.
And for the second part, to get a position like this, well, this position was actually not posted on Navigator, on the Laurier job database. I wasn't sure whether it was posted on the Waterloo one, but if that wasn't on Laurier's one, maybe not. So this one, basically, I went on their own website, external recruiting website, and I just saw this very intriguing position. So I just decided to contact the recruiting officer, which turned out to be the head of the HR department. And I sent her my reference and resume, and also my cover letter and my transcript, of course. And then I actually got the job pretty late because there are some organizations, especially for the ones larger in size, they take a lot of time to screen through maybe 200 resumes for one position. So it took me about 2 months to actually get the interview, but after I got the interview, I got the job simply right away.
So big co-op lesson, don't leave everything to Navigator, don't leave everything to JobMind. There's a really good chance that you can get the job you want if you apply separately. As
Absolutely.
we saw with you and with session 2, we had Mike who also got that on his own as well. So thanks a lot for coming on the show. Really appreciated it.
Thanks for inviting.
If you have any questions about the electricity industry, knowledge and the importance of Excel, or anything to do with operational efficiency, here's your man. Thanks for showing up, guys.